Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, November 27th, 2015. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm very happy to be joined by Jonah Booker. J-Book, Ohio State at Michigan tomorrow, high noon. Game will be televised by ABC. Brad Nessler and Todd Blackledge on the call. Buckeyes now favored by 1 point over the Wolverines. This has been a crazy point spread to follow, J-Book. Opened at 2 points favoring the Buckeyes, and it went to 2.5 points favoring the Wolverines, then it went to a pick'em. Now it's Ohio State favored by 1. I kind of wanted the Buckeyes to be underdogs coming into this game. Your thoughts on the point spread?
You're starting to see a lot of line movement, Dave. Vegas, they're setting the line to try to get action on both sides of the coin there. As you mentioned, you've seen a lot of shift. Right now, you're starting to see Ohio State trend towards the favorite in this, but I absolutely agree with you. I wanted to see Ohio State come in as the underdog. Something, Dave, to rally these guys, put some type of chip on their shoulder. How small it may be is to be determined, but anything to get these guys going, I'm all for it. But you're really starting to see the public starting to lay a little bit of money towards the Buckeyes there. But as you mentioned, the line opened up as 2, then dropped down to a pick'em. Now you're starting to see the Buckeyes as the favorite.
Yeah, people, start putting some money on the Wolverines. I want the Buckeyes to be an underdog going into this game. Urban Meyer seems like he's unbeatable as an underdog, but we'll see. It's just been interesting to follow that point spread. We'll see. Maybe it'll drop before the game tomorrow. J-Book, let's get down to brass tacks. Will Ohio State win this game tomorrow?
I think Ohio State's going to win it. Right now you have 2 coaches in Tim Beck and Ed Warner. They have nothing to lose now, Dave. These guys are under siege. There's no tomorrow. Ohio State, this is a chance to potentially go to the Rose Bowl and play Stanford if they can win out. Right now in Ohio State, the offense is in shambles. But if I'm Tim Beck and I'm Ed Warner, I'm going out guns blazing. Right now, people are calling for your head. So if anything, let's go out, let's spread it around, let's see if we can generate some points, because if Ohio State comes out and they come out conservative and vanilla, they're not going to win this game. I find it hard to believe that the guys will come out with that type of offensive game plan like they did against Michigan State. So to me, my mind says, hey, they're going to bring their best offensive strategy that they can these last couple of weeks, but my heart says prove it to me, because we've seen the vanilla offense for several weeks. A lot of people thought those guys were holding back for the Michigan State game, and they end up going even further backwards than what they were previously doing. So I think they're going to come out with a wide-open offense.
What is the biggest concern for Ohio State tomorrow? What is the biggest concern for Ohio State facing this Michigan team, J-Book?
The biggest concern is going to be the offense. The defense, I think the Ohio State defense is absolutely good enough to slow Michigan down. But what is the Ohio State offense going to do? If they're running J.T. Barrett on a quarterback draw on 3rd and long into the teeth of the defense, that's not going to get it done. Personally, I think Michigan is better defensively than Michigan State, so it's going to be an even bigger challenge. So it's going to be contingent on what Tim Beck and Ed Warner does. Are they going to open up that playbook? Are they going to continue to be vanilla? And if they are, the Buckeyes are going to be in for a long afternoon.
And on the flip side, J-Book, what's something that, if you're an Ohio State fan, you should be feeling good about entering this game? If you're an Ohio State player, Ohio State coach, if you're a Buckeye, what is something you should be feeling good about entering this game?
If I'm a Ohio State fan, I'm feeling good based off what I saw from what Indiana was able to do to Michigan. Indiana was able to attack the perimeter. They were running trap plays. They were running counter plays. The power game was absolutely working for Indiana. They absolutely gutted Michigan. I don't even think Indiana threw a pass in the second half in overtime against Michigan, and they were one tip pass away from winning that football game. So if I'm Ohio State, I'm getting Ezekiel out on the perimeter. I know they love to run J.T. Barrett, but this game to me says feed Zeke at least 25, 30 times a game and getting him out on the edge.
Buckeye fans are hoping that Tim Beck will be fired. I concur with them. I also hope he will be fired. I'm sure you do too. Nothing against him personally. Just he's not cut out to be the play caller at Ohio State. I think what Urban Meyer is going to do after the season, he's going to have Ed Warner return to coaching the offensive line. He'll still have maybe the title of co-offensive coordinator, just like he did under Tom Herman. In fact, I'm sure Ed Warner would still have some type of title like co-offensive coordinator. But I do think Urban Meyer is going to fire Tim Beck, and I think he's going to go out and find himself an offensive coordinator. My question to you is, Mike Locksley. What would you think if Urban Meyer hired Mike Locksley as his offensive coordinator?
Dave, I had to steal the line off one of our posters online. He said, Tim Beck and Ed Warner has taken a Ferrari and turned it into a 1998 Honda Accord with rust spots. That lets you know how far the offense has fallen under those two guys. I agree with you. It's nothing personal against Tim Beck, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the bottom line. You bring up Mike Locksley, excellent recruiter. You look at what the DMV area is as far as talent. He's going to be able, along with Larry Johnson, to really get a stranglehold on that talent. Locksley is a guy, when he was at Maryland, Illinois, he was a dynamic play caller. You bring him in, move Ed Warner back to the offensive line, because I don't think Ed can handle the double duty. There was no reason for this offensive line to trend so far backwards as they did this year. And you have to probably look at Ed trying to do a little too much with the offensive coordinator role as well as the offensive line. But if they're talking Mike Locksley, that would be definitely a home run hire on the recruiting front, and you would have him being able to be the offensive coordinator and be able to mentor J.T. Barrett.
Let's give a final score prediction for tomorrow's big game. I've got the Buckeyes winning in a close one, 28-24. You mentioned earlier you think Ohio State's going to win. What's your final score prediction?
I'm going with Ohio State 24, Michigan 20. The Buckeyes roll. They get back on track. The seniors, they leave out of here with 4 gold pens. And the Buckeyes probably looking at a potential Rose Bowl berth if Michigan State wins out. But after that, let's keep our fingers crossed for Penn State.
We both have the Buckeyes winning by 4. I think it's going to be a close game the entire way. It's going to be a bloodbath, as always, but I do think the more talented team will win out. And I love Urban Meyer in rivalry games. I love Urban Meyer when he's an underdog or when people are doubting him. Even if the Buckeyes are favored by 1, they were underdogs earlier in the week. Everybody's been doubting them. So, I've been calling it a coin flip game, but I think it's a little bit tilted in Ohio State's favor. Both Jay Book and I have the Buckeyes winning by 4 points. Buckeye fans will take a 1-point victory. It doesn't matter. Just beat Michigan. Thanks very much to Jay Book. He always comes strong. We had many people request to have him on the show this week. I did not want to let you guys down. Jay Book's in the starting rotation. We have him on at least every 2 weeks. Wanted to make sure we had him on the day before the Michigan game. And speaking of the day before the Michigan game, some Ohio State hoops tonight. Now, you don't want to get depressed the night before the Michigan game, so maybe you shouldn't watch this. But if you're a Buckeye basketball fan, big game tonight. The Buckeyes will play Memphis in Miami, 7:30 on ESPN2 tonight. So hasn't been going well for Thad Matta and the basketball Buckeyes, but they're an exciting team. You're looking for some sports to watch tonight. Buckeye basketball against Memphis in Miami, 7:30 ESPN2. Thanks again to Jonah Booker. Jay Book is one of my favorite guys to talk to. I really appreciate your time. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. And as my daughters Megan and Chelsea like to say,
Go